Hey, how's it going? So I wanted to review this with you. I know it looks like a lot going on. Um, but basically, we can start up here. So this is your current year to date, okay? This is your revenue, and that's a number that you can plug in. So if you do 30,000, you can always adjust it, okay? So you can adjust your revenue, and then the jobs that you do, you also can adjust that manually. So let's say you do 65. Okay, and as you see, when you change these numbers, the rest of these kind of start to change as well, right? And then 65, but you might have done 90 estimates. It's going to change that there. So these are the three numbers that you can plug in. You can plug in your revenue, your jobs, and your estimates. So remember that was at 58. You can adjust it, and this we put to 75. Okay, which gives us our close ratio. So close ratio is going to be how many estimates you did and how many did you close. So you closed 77%. And now you have average ticket, and your average ticket is going to be your revenue divided by your jobs is your average ticket. This marketing cost you're also able to add in. So let's say you had $2,000 of cost, you can add that in. And if you had marketing cost at $2,000 and you did 58 jobs, it would have cost you $34 in marketing each job. Okay, so that's how we get the acquisition cost. But you spent zero in marketing, so you have a 0% acquisition cost. Now, when we look at this same year and we jump into the projections, here we go. We have a revenue target of that 100,000. Okay, which would mean here, if we want to jump over, so revenue is jobs times average ticket. Now, what we're saying for the growth of the company is your average ticket, you're going to grow it by 10%. You're going to increase your price by 10% and get your average ticket from 448 to 500. This is the goal. Now, because you raise your average ticket, your close ratio has to go down. So instead of 77, you might close around 50% now. Okay? Now your acquisition cost is currently zero because you have no marketing. However, the industry standard is about 10%. So you can attribute 10% of every job is gonna go to your new marketing budget. So if your average ticket is 500, you have a 10% acquisition cost. So marketing budget, $50 times 200 jobs. So if it takes you $50 to get a job and you do 200, that's a $10,000 marketing cost, okay? Now, on this chart, the only number you can play with is this marketing cost. You can move this number around. What does that mean? Let's say you say, okay, I'm going to spend $2,000 in marketing. Well, acquisition cost is still 50, average ticket is still 500, you're still closing at 50%, but you're only going to do with 2,000, you're only going to do 40 jobs and only hit $20,000 in revenue. Now, I know you have some viral stuff that goes on, so we're just not worrying about that. This is all for projections, okay? So let's say you go in and you say, no, I'm going to put 15,000 in marketing. I'm going to go get a loan. I'm going to get $15,000 in marketing. If you did $15,000 in marketing and each job cost you $50, you would have won 300 jobs. If you win 300 jobs at $500 average ticket, you're going to do $150,000 in revenue. Now, same principle. Let's say you say, no, I'm going to spend 10. I'm going to do $800 a month, okay? At a $50 acquisition cost, you need to do 200 jobs times $500 per job is $100,000. That's how you can get to your $100,000. If you invest a $10,000 marketing budget, which attributes 10% to acquisition, you increase your price by 10% to get to that $500, and you close half of your job. So you're going to do 400 estimates, 200 closes, you will hit that. You need 200 jobs and you'll be able, that's 4 times as many jobs as you have now. You'll hit that revenue target, okay? Now, down here is what we have our gross profit. So let's say you hit the revenue of 100,000, okay? Or let's go to your year to date. Year to date, you have this revenue. Then you have fixed cost, okay? This is your monthly fixed cost. So your website, your cell phone, your insurance, your vehicle, your rent, your employer. Now, if you ever have other costs, just add it in here. It's gonna add to this number. And your year to date fixed cost are January through September, so 9 months times this amount. Okay, your marketing, you have $0, and your cost of goods, I'm not sure how much you've spent on materials, which leaves you at a profit of 16,000 for this year. Now, if we look at 2026, your projections, okay, if let's say we do, like I said, 150, this bottom chart, if we do 15,000 in marketing, the bottom chart will change as well. So let's just say we do $10,000 in marketing budget. You're going to project $100,000 in revenue. Your fixed cost, this is for 12 months, the monthly fixed cost times 12. And we increased it by 20% because if you grow in business, your overhead will increase a little bit. Okay. Your marketing budget is the $10,000 that we discussed. Your cost of goods, I put it at 10% because as you grow, you're probably going to need more stuff, switch out materials. I would say 10% is going to go towards cost of goods, which leaves you at a gross profit of 65,000. If you do 100,000 in revenue, you should gross 65,000. Now, here's where the report gets good. Let's say you do 15,000 in marketing. Your cost of goods, because your fixed cost stays the same, your marketing goes up, your cost of goods also went up, remember? So this is 10% of the revenue, but now your gross profit is 105. So if you can get to 150, you have 105. But look where the numbers get crazy. Let's say you do $3,000 a month in marketing budget, which is $36,000 in the whole year. Your revenue is going to go to 360. Your marketing is going to go up. Your cost of goods will go up, but you'll gross profit $273,000. This is the scalability. Now we can bring it back down to that $10,000 mark. You'll still be making well over 65,000 gross profit on the projects. And I know you had that $100,000 revenue goal. So working it this way can break everything down. And this is how you can explain it to the investors. You'd be like, hey, investors, I know you guys are going to get this done for me. So with that, with the money, I'm going to fully invest it to marketing. This is where I have my biggest, form of growth because I've had no budget. So now adding a budget is going to get me so many more leads where I'm going to get more jobs, which is going to push my revenue. And it really, really gets exciting. Like I said, when you get to the point of, $50,000 a year in marketing budget, the numbers just start to grow exponentially at the bottom because the more money there is, the more profit it ends up being, right? So, but yes, with a $10,000 marketing budget, you should have an average ticket of $500. Remember, you're going to increase from $448. You can increase that with upsells. You're going to sell champagne. You're going to maybe do, hey, did you want to upgrade a package where you take home, 2 of the cups? We make a custom plate for you as well. Like you can figure out how to upsell $50, right? So get that to 500. When you do that, your closing ratio got to go down. That's totally fine. You're going to write 400 estimates and close 200. The good thing is if you close higher ratio and you still get the 400 estimates, you're going to have 300. You can push your revenue. This is an anchor. When you get higher closing ratio, you can push this number right up, okay? So remember, you're going to add a marketing budget, attribute 10% of that budget. Your marketing budget is 10% of the cost of the customer. You're going to raise their price, close a little bit less, do more jobs, get the revenue you need, and be able to push. And remember, this 50% is conservative. So if you can drop down maybe only to 65%, then your revenue is also going to drive up. So that's everything on this. Watch this video. I know it's long, but I hope you really get through it. And then play with this marketing cost. You play with it. Go up and down and see what happens. And look at this bottom line, what it does as well. add some other costs that you might foresee. Hey, maybe you have to pay more rent, or maybe you have to get a location, or maybe you need a storage, or maybe you need to buy a van with monthly fixed cost on it. You can do all the numbers in here and they'll all adjust, okay? So I would love to help you with this, but I'm gonna send it over, and if you need anything, let me know.